Hi, another video about Sopare, this time about basic usage. And basic usage means simple one-word commands. So we will cover how to train Sopare to recognize words. And before we start, we talk a little bit about preparation and requirements. Obviously, Raspberry Pi is required, USB microphone, and a proper installed Sopare, latest version, of course. And before I start recording, I always check the microphone input level. And by doing this, I use the tool Alsa Mixer, which works headless. And so this is my input level for the microphone. And as you can see, it's not too high and it's not too low. You should definitely check this out for your environment and for your microphone, and figure out what works best for you. Also, one requirement is the threshold when Sopare starts recognizing relevant voice input. And this is defined in the config file in the value threshold. This threshold means that anything below this value Sopare will not do anything. And if a peak appears above the threshold, Sopare starts recording and matches this the input against the trained results. Which means that background noise and environment noise should be below the threshold. And if you start talking, the threshold should be, Sopare should recognize your input. And I want to show you what happens if you have a very low threshold. You can start Sopare without training, without anything, endless loop and in verbose mode or in debug mode. And if you start Sopare, you see lots of lines. And if there is a silence and you see Sopare still is doing some background work, then the level, then the threshold is too low. Which means in our case now the threshold is way too low. To give you another example, we choose a very high threshold. And if we talk now, Sopare is not recognizing anything because the threshold is too high. Which means this really depends on your environment and your microphone. And you should figure out the ideal threshold when Sopare starts recognizing sound and matches this sound against the trained results. In my case, a good threshold is is between 200 and 400, depending on the microphone, and I'm using now 250, which is perfect for my silent environment here at home. And now, if you reached and if you have set up the system, we can start to train Sopare to recognize words. I've prepared a project, a magic mirror, which is not a magic mirror yet because the mirror is missing, but everything else, the frame, the microphone, is prepared. And I have 3 views, and I want to voice control the 3 views with 3 voice commands. And the first voice command is called main, the second is weather, and the third is events. And what I do now is I start Sopare with the -t option and the identifier for the training word. In this case, it's the word main. And I just start it, and then I say the word main. That's it. I trained the word main, and now I go ahead and train the word weather and events. Weather. And the word events. Events. That's it. This is how you train voice commands or any sound patterns in Sopare. And after the training, you have to compile the trained words into a dictionary. This is done with the -c option. If you start the training, you should wait for the line start endless recording, and then you say your word or you play a sound for the training. After you have done this, you can just check out if it works. I have already prepared, I think I've done 2 training rounds before, so I trained each word 3 times, and we can now check if Sopare recognizes the trained words. Weather, events, main. Works perfect. In each case, Sopare recognizes the trained words. And what I want to show you now is how to do your own custom code. How you can now work with Sopare and do stuff. So we have a plugin directory, and inside of this plugin directory is a standard print plugin directory, and you can take a look into the init py file where you see one function, or it's a one function, and inside of this one function we have only one command. It's a print, and it prints the readable results, which is recognized identifier. In our case, it's a list of recognized identifiers. And to do your own custom code, you can just copy the print directory and remove the print function and code whatever you want. In my case right now, as I said, I want to control a magic mirror. I set up an architecture, an event hub, so I can control the web interface. I can show you the web interfaces, the web interface of the magic mirror, and I have also prepared a plugin, and this plugin is called I think Event Hub, and I have some lines, a unique socket, and the command is sent to the Unix socket, and the Unix socket calls with an event hub, and the event hub goes into the Apache, and the Apache talks to the web page. So what I can show you right now is how to voice control basic commands that we have trained beforehand, and we can control a magic mirror. Let's check it. Weather, events, main, main, main. Okay, that's it. Works for 3-time learning word. This works pretty good. You will get for very short commands and for one-word commands, you will get false positives. And I think I can make another post, another tutorial within the next week, how to add more precision and how to avoid false positives. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you and goodbye.